Prime Minister Andrew Holness gives woman donkey as gift. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. The female farmer who asked the Prime Minister Andrew Holness for a donkey to assist her in traveling to and from her farm and transporting her goods has now received the animal. The disclosure was made by Robert Nesta Morgan, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, with responsibility for information on his social media Twitter page on Friday. Earlier in July, Prime Minister Andrew Holness promised to assist a St. Elizabeth farmer with the purchase of a donkey after the farmer made the appeal to the Prime Minister during his recent visit to the parish to hand over a house to a resident under the government's Housing Opportunity Production and Employee Hope program. The woman has now received the donkey and is very happy. Members of the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team, along with authorities from the United States, have now apprehended a female who is wanted on a warrant for extradition during an operation in St. James on Friday. According to the police, the female was wanted for questioning in relation to a murder and other serious crimes in the United States. Officials from the Lottery Scam Task Force also participated in the raid. Reports are that about 4:30 a.m., a team of officers went to the Greenwood section of St. James where they carried out a search of a house where the woman and another man were seen. The woman was taken into custody pending an extradition hearing. The Jamaica government has now recognized a request for asylum on behalf of 37 Haitian migrants, including 8 children who arrived in Portland last week. Information Minister Robert Morgan confirmed in an interview with news media on Saturday morning that the letter with the request was received on Friday from Marlene Alien, founder of Freedom Imaginaries. The development came as the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency was making arrangements to have the group return to Haiti after the adults appeared in court and were each fined $7,000 or 3 days of hard labor for illegal entry. Mr. Morgan had said earlier last week that the Haitians were advised of the possibility of applying for asylum, but none of them took up the offer. Dwayne Edwards, a confessed serial rapist who used a taxi cab to abduct, rape, and rob women in a series of attacks in Kingston 4 years ago, was on Friday sentenced to 26 years in prison. Edwards, who was sentenced in the Home Circuit Court, is to serve 18 years before being eligible for parole. The convict who pleaded guilty in March for sex crimes was sentenced to 8 years at hard labor for forcible abduction, 26 years and 8 months at hard labor for rape, and 10 years at hard labor for robbery with aggravation, and the sentences are to run concurrently. The serial rapist was in 2021 convicted for similar offense and was sentenced to 19 years imprisonment. So if he was sentenced in 2021, why is he out still doing the same thing? Prosecutors said Edwards and his co-accused Michael Swaby, posing as passenger and driver, has been on the police radar for several years. They were already arrested in 2018 following several complaints by women of women being abducted and sexual assaulting after entering a taxi cab. Swaby was also convicted and is now serving a 38-year prison sentence. A construction worker was shot dead by gunmen during a robbery at a bar in Top Hill in St. Elizabeth on Saturday. The deceased is 52-year-old Lloyd Cole, also called Riceman of Top Hill in the parish. Reports are that about 1:45 in the morning on Saturday, Cole was sitting inside a bar in the community when armed men entered and shot him several times. The hoodlums then proceeded to rob the bartender of an undetermined sum of cash, then fled the community. The police were summoned and Cole was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The St. Elizabeth police are now conducting a probe into this shooting. Still in St. Elizabeth, the St. Elizabeth police arrested 2 men following an attempted armed robbery in Braze River in the parish on Sunday. Reports are that about 3:45 a.m., a businessman who operates a bar in Braze River was alerted that his establishment was being burglarized. He visited the location and armed men greeted him with a volley of gunshots. The men then fled the scene in a Toyota Voxy motor car. The police were alerted and shortly after intercepted another Toyota vehicle, a Toyota Corolla this time, that was reportedly being operated as a pilot motor vehicle in close proximity to where the shooting had occurred. The driver of the Corolla was also taken into custody. And shortly after, a team of officers intercepted the Toyota Voxy in Elim district in the parish. On the approach of the law enforcers, the men aboard the vehicle opened gunfire at them. The police returned fire, however, 2 of the men escaped while a 3rd man was apprehended. In the end, 2 of the perpetrators were arrested and the 2 vehicles have now been seized pending further investigations by the police. 2 of the other men who escaped remain at large. However, by arresting 2 more of these men seizing the 2 vehicles, it is a job well done by the police. A man was arrested following the seizure of a Glock 26 pistol fitted with a magazine containing 8 rounds of ammunition at a bar in Mount Salem in St. James on Sunday. Reports from the Mount Salem police are that about 1 a.m., lawmen on patrol conducted a search of a business establishment in the area when the firearm was found in a bag. One of the patrons at the bar who claimed the bag was subsequently arrested, and his identity is now being withheld pending further investigations. 26-year-old Dane Buchanan of Spring Garden District, Sheffield in Westmoreland was arrested and charged with possession of a prohibited weapon following an incident in his community on Wednesday, July 12. Reports from the Savlamar police are that a snap raid was conducted at a home of Buchanan, during which one 9mm magazine was found in a speaker box inside his bedroom. He was taken into custody and subsequently charged. His court date is now being finalized. Meanwhile, the police are trying to determine the motive for the murder of a call center employee in St. Anne on Friday morning. Andre McDonald, 22, was stabbed to death in a shop in Tyrese District in Brownstown, St. Anne, shortly after midnight, and investigators are now probing reports that he was attacked by members of a gang. On to sports. Jamaica's Reggae Girls produced one of the biggest surprises of the Women's World Cup on Sunday by holding France to a 0-0 draw. Frances Diani struck the bar with a 90th-minute header, but one of the tournament favorites had to settle for a point. The draw saw Jamaica pick up their first ever point in the competition, despite ending the game with 10 players after their number one star Khadijah Bonishaw was sent off in time added on. While the French players appeared gloomy, the Jamaican players embraced each other on the Sydney Football Stadium field and cheered. To get here, they had relied on family, friends, and fans to cover some of their expenses. And in the months leading up to the team's departure to Australia, Jamaican midfielder Havana Solon's mother Sandra Phillips Bauer, she launched a GoFundMe named Reggae Girls Rise Up for the team to raise funds. The GoFundMe raised about $50,000. A separate fundraiser totaled more than $45,000 was also raised. And this is a shame on the Jamaica Football Federation for these girls to play football representing the country, and the Jamaica Football Federation didn't even turn out to help them. And last month, the Reggae Girls released a statement on social media expressing their utmost disappointment with the Jamaica Football Federation. Jamaica is among several women's club teams that have expressed frustration over pay issues and national team budget cuts. Jamaica's players claim that they have not received payments that is guaranteed in their contract as well. According to them, they said due to budget constraint, Jamaica has had to miss valuable practice time, including several friendly matches leading up to this year's World Cup tournament. Their next game is on Saturday, and we say again, shame on the Jamaica Football Federation. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.